Ladies and gentlemen, kindly make your way in. We shall be starting in the next 5 minutes. Kindly take your seats. A slow start, but an exciting day nonetheless. Kindly make your way in so that we may start the sessions. Service announcement for all the startups. If you're in launch number 4, which is the first session of today, kindly make your way backstage and confirm that all is well. Ladies and gentlemen, so that we may start. The session.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please settle down. Please settle down so that we can begin this the next session. We begin this. The next session. Dr. Olatunji, please come to the backstage. Dr. Olatunji, backstage. Good morning. Good morning. You know the drill. When I say morning, you have to respond to that. So let's try this again. Good morning.
Deploy several strategies to ensure that ICT is properly developed in the country, and further on, we can really mainstream ICT in critical sectors of the economy, being health, education, ICT infrastructure in the country, human capital development, and some other things. And in doing that, we're working with partners, both within and outside Nigeria, to ensure that we achieve the mandate of the agency.
All right.
And we are currently under the Ministry of Communication Technology in Nigeria.
Oh, that's great. Within that attempt to mainstream ICT across the various industries, there are, of course, different actors within those spaces, within health, within infrastructure. Some, of course, are state actors, some are non-state actors. But I think critical to that ecosystem is the role of young entrepreneurs. So just wondering what NIDDA is currently doing to encourage the emergence of innovation and innovators within those spaces. Do you have current programs that target within that?
It is obvious that no country can really develop or play at that global level without research, development, and innovation. And that ecosystem has considered this as very important, and within one of key priority areas. Several years back, we've done so many things, especially in the area of research and development. It may interest you that as far back as 5 years ago, we had what we called the Research and Development Fund. Which is mainly we've done so many our homegrown solutions to look at people who want to go into research initiatives in different areas of ICT. We've been funding some, and we are still doing that. And the Idea Hub in Lagos and Calabar was set up by the Research and Development Fund. And there are so many projects, so many innovative activities coming out from these centers. And the Demo Africa that we are even having now, we sponsored it last year. And we also sponsored it this year. We've been funding some. And we believe that through this kind of platform, we can encourage what we have and take them to the global level. We have a national office for ICT innovation and entrepreneurship. The main purpose of setting up the office is to coordinate what we have in terms of ICT innovations in the country, prep them for international markets, create entrepreneurship skill in them, and make sure that they can play at any level and compete with solutions across the globe. We also have the ICT local content policy. The main aim is to promote brand Nigeria in ICT. There's so many ideas coming up. We have entrepreneurship skill in them, young innovators. And we believe without really setting up proper guidelines, putting in place proper policies to guide what they are doing, there will be no proper coordination. So that office is there to promote brand Nigeria, take them to the global market. Last year we were at GITEX, which is the global IT show in the Middle East. We took 7 entrepreneurs young entrepreneurs from Nigeria. And this year we are preparing to take 10 of them again. And what we are doing here, where we have about 30, make sure that they can play at any level and compete in the government is really putting a lot of money in sponsoring this. And we hope to still do more. And going forward, we are developing a national standard for hubs in the country. We are doing the inventory of hubs, both privately owned and government owned, to probably bring them together and see how we can work with them. Like one of the things that came out yesterday was that government should properly fund innovation. And we already, the team that came from NIDDA, and we hope to still do more and see what we can do going forward, especially in the budget for next year, to see how we can really put up proper funding mechanism for startups instead of coming on stage to seek for sponsors, school for investors, government should be able to invest in some, and maybe in 10, 15 years, we will still expect something from them to not just putting money there. The money that we put there, there will be specific guidelines on what.
One of the things that came out yesterday,
start making your money, you must be able to return something to government. These are various things that we're doing. And it's also interesting that we are already working with some universities in Canada, the McMaster University in Hamilton, Canada, the Rice State University at Niagara Falls. We developed a plan with them on how to embark on exchange programs. The startups are here, and those are just how they can interact, exchange ideas, and see how they can work together so that we can play at that global market. We realize that it's not enough to say one of the things that came out yesterday, you are not uploading. You don't have any content that you're putting there. You're just spending your hard-earned money. You are not putting anything at the internal level. So we want to develop our homegrown solutions that we can take to the international market and be part of the global system.
With them and now to embark on exchange.
Commendable. It's commendable. I think your playbook should be copy and pasted by a number of African countries. We look forward to seeing that. I think one of the dangers that we see across the continent, especially with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, is the imbalance from a gender perspective. So the risk that especially with science, technology, is NITDA making any specific, putting in place any specific measures to encourage the emergence of young women and girls within this ecosystem, and also connecting the possibility of connecting them with engineering, mathematics, and specific.
One thing about knowledge economy, you don't know face, you don't know race, you don't know gender, but we should put in place special mechanism to ensure that we encourage people. For instance, if you put an advert there that you want innovators in a particular area, you don't want to know if a girl is coming to do that.
Specific measures to encourage support and investment.
The most important thing you want from them is the knowledge. You want to see what they are doing, you want to evaluate what they can do. But we must commend the ladies in Nigeria. So many of them are coming up with some very innovative ideas. There is one particular lady that is from Minilag. There's some young guys there that have been involved in some competitions over for some years now. They've built cars, electric cars from scratch, and the cars are running. One young lady, the knowledge, want to see. I think it takes a lot of effort. Want to go out to look for them. They should be ready and be willing. But if you take it to them and they're not willing to take it, you won't achieve any result. But no, we will still put in place some measures. We are working with some NGOs that are mainly for women and girls. From scratch. There are several workshops, conferences, that we supported them to ensure that we discover talent in young ladies that are coming up. And the Nigerian Association of Computer Science Students, which is the student body in charge of those studying computer science, we are working with some of them, and we are ensuring that whatever you want to do, you must ensure that you are listening to ladies. Students, which is really achieved a lot in that. And even under our scholarship scheme, it may interest you that we have a special scholarship scheme for students that are willing to go further for masters or PhD in core areas of ICT. We have a special quota for ladies, though it's state by state, but we encourage ladies to be part of it. And there are some ladies that participated 2-3 years ago, most of them are back in the country now. So we may not really go out to say, yes, we want ladies. They must be ready and willing. They will now do our own in the area of policies to guide whatever we are doing. Any mechanism we are putting in place, any strategy we are putting in place. We have a special quota for ladies. Or maybe if you are saying your cutoff is 90%, to qualify for a particular program, you say for ladies, okay, let's do 80% for them, just to encourage them.
Yeah, you mentioned something as we close, because time's up. You mentioned that you had young people who made this
Yes, we wanted to follow this. They must be ready
I
and
think one of the
willing.
things that I feel we're not seeing enough of across the ecosystem in Africa is makers, innovators who are making hardware.
Yeah.
Is NIDA, very briefly, is NIDA doing anything to encourage hardware innovation in tech?
Yeah, there are so many things we are doing to encourage innovation in that way. Like I said, that we have the research and development grant. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the area of software. Mm-hmm. Depends on the solutions we are bringing to the table. If it's hardware, we know that it's good.
We will not
really narrate to promote them.
Just
for instance, the guys that
in Africa is makers.
Produce the car. We are bringing them to Nigeria this year, which is the flagship of our ICT awareness campaign. The theme for this year is not relevant to what they've done. We are looking at how to use ICT to really improve our electoral process in Nigeria. Car is not something that you can say has to do with electoral process, but we are bringing them
on the electoral process agenda.
Yes, it's all right. But we are bringing them
Like I said, that we will not do
what they've done, and see how we can take them to international shows and even introduce them to investors who may be willing to invest in what they've done. So in the area of hardware, yes, we are looking towards that area as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Vincent Olatunji, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It is a pleasure having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, a hand for Mr. Olatunji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Improve our electoral process in Nigeria.
Now, as the team gets the seats off the stage, could you all kindly stand up for a minute? How many of you have an empty seat in front of you? If you have an empty seat in front of you, kindly move to the seat in front of you, please.
Thank you very much.
Now, as the team of you. No backbenchers. Get to know your neighbor. Demo. An interesting fact about demo is that you do not have to be on stage to make a connection. We've got people who've been poached from one company to another. If you have an empty seat in front, better salary, simply from knowing the person sitting next to them. It's exciting to see you this morning, and you're getting ready to welcome the next round of launches. And remember, these guys have, yesterday started on a high note, and the bar has been set really high. So as one company to another, kindly welcome them with a round of applause, and even as they exit the stage, give them that energy that they need to deliver better salary presentations to you. Guys have. So without much further ado, starting us off with today's startup presentations, welcome on stage Pythias from Nairobi, Kenya. Yesterday started on a high note.
A couple of days ago, I landed in Lagos, excited to be part of Demo Africa. Now, upon arrival at my hotel, there was a bit of a challenge in my payment.
So without much further ado,
in our efforts to try and resolve it,
with
I had to check my bank balance. Now, I'm from Kenya. My bank doesn't have a presence in Nigeria. So what I had to do is make a phone call to a representative in Nairobi and ask them to email me an account. So eventually they sent it after about 4 hours and a lengthy exchange trying to prove my identity. Maybe because I was calling from Nigeria. But it kind of delayed I had to check my bank balance. It delayed my settling in process, right? Now, this is not just my story. Every day, a lot of people globally face challenges accessing digital services from their banks. Now imagine if there was a solution that enabled you to access any digital services at your convenience in the most natural user interface that we know as man. It delayed accessing digital. Well, now there is. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew. I'm the founder of Pythias, formerly ENT Mobile. Now at Pythias, we build a platform that connects your social media identity with your identity at your service provider. So in a bank, for example, that's your account number or your phone number in a telco. So once that's in place, we enable the service provider digital services from this man. Social media and mobile. Now, I'm emphasizing on social media and mobile because of accessibility. So we wanted to bring these services to platforms that users are already familiar with, right? And there's no better platform than social media and mobile. The other day Facebook social media identity with your users. I'm emphasizing on social media in Africa, right? There are about 500 million mobile subscribers. And so these are platforms that users use daily and are familiar with. Now, couple that with a natural language processing interface that's easier to use than any channel out there. So we have a strong team that developed a natural language processing algorithm that converts human everyday conversation into actionable data. And mobile because of accessibility. We also have a partnership with IBM. Right? They like what we're doing, so we got into a partnership that gives us access to technical tools and resources that augment our cognitive and machine learning functionalities. And I'll show you how it works, right? So with Pythias, so we have a strong partnership with IBM. Make a phone call to my bank representative. I would simply send a message on my favorite social media platform. You can see this. So we can't see that. So I would send a message to my like what we're doing. So we got into a bank representative. Sorry, I'm trying to get it on screen. No, we can't find it here. So basically, we'd send a message similar to that in natural language. Send me my mini statement. And we'd get a response immediately. So what happens is the platform links your identity on social media with your identity in the bank, executes the transaction, and sends you back the response, right? So we didn't stop there. We created a platform, a sentiment analysis and social media analytics platform that consumes data on social media, human conversation on social media, and quantifies it, structures it, and presents it in an easy-to-view dashboard. Our market, so basically with the bank executes the transaction. We have a serviceable market of about 50 banks and 17 telcos in Africa and across the globe, and an immediately obtainable market of 10 banks and 7 telcos in Eastern and Southern Africa. Now think about it this way. At a total cost of ownership of about $80,000 for a single client, data on social media, the global human conversation banks and 17 telcos in Africa and for scale. Now we have a B2B software as a service model where the client pays an initial cost for the implementation and setup and the regular maintenance cost. Our ask, we are seeking strategic partnerships to be able to build our business and open up market opportunities. Total cost of ownership of software as a service model. Ladies and gentlemen, digital service delivery in 2015 is intrinsically broken. It was good in 1998, but with more savvy users and where the client pays an initial cost for the total cost of ownership of software as a service model solution. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be at my booth over at D6 at the demo pit. Feel free to drop by and have a chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Now, one thing I know about
for the total cost of ownership as a service.
Experience it to know its real value. So make sure you do visit him at his stand in the demo pit. And now, warm round of applause. Welcome Eco MC Squared from South Africa.
Other half apologizes, we can't make it.
One thing I know about
Discuss with you what we're about to do. About 2 years ago, I was having a nice discussion with a friend of mine called Norman Grant, engineer. I'm an electronics engineer, he's a mechanical engineer, and we were discussing power storage. Well, halfway through the conversation, he says, well, just use batteries. Now, he's a mechanical engineer.
Eco MC.
Apologizes, we can't make it.
One thing
He's a mechanical engineer, and we were discussing power batteries has been proven over many years to be ineffectual. So I turned to him and said, Norman, how can you make such a dumb statement? Because it's not going to work. He says, well, what else are you going to do? I said, Norman, we've just been working on your regenerative braking system together. There is storage taking place in that. Why can't I use that? And he says to me, that's interesting. Now, please understand something. When an engineer says to you, storage, that's interesting, what he means is that he was doing I said to him, regenerative braking system. The experiment did something entirely different, and he goes, that's interesting. This was the beginning, the genesis of the EcoMC squared system together. Storage, that's interesting. What he means is the first generator, tried it out, cobbled a whole lot of things together, and man, was it ugly. The worst thing you've ever seen in your life. We had borrowed parts from cars, an old generator, we cobbled things together, but it worked. It actually generated power. It stored the power. We realized, though, very early on, that the system we were about to put together had to be pivoted because it would be enormous, physically enormous. So I said to this generator, a whole lot of things together, and compressed energy storage, compressed air energy storage. The compressed air energy storage proves to be probably the most efficient way of storing energy that there is. Now, we also realized, though, very early on, probably the most important part of this. And we have people like Norman Grant, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Andries, a few professors on our team. They're not paid by us. They're part of our support mechanism. They help us cobble together this system. Understand this, though. I know where my limitations are. I mean, I'm the mascot of the company. They're the guys that do the genius stuff. What has happened is that we've decided that the financial side gets done by one group of people who understand what's going on. Storage, compressed air energy storage. A decision. And we have people like to appoint agents to do our sales because we could then leverage their expertise, their skills, their client base, etc. And to that end, we appointed an agent in South Africa, a single agent, who has taken South Africa, Africa, and the United Arab Emirates, the Middle East. With this agency, we have signed a minimum offtake agreement of 3 machines per day for the next 5 years. Oh. Now, if you can understand, I'm the master agent to do our sales. Is our entry level. That translates, multiply that by 4,000, that translates to a whole hunk of change. That's already been signed and sealed. The business model says that these people will then pay 50% up front for the machine to be built and 50% on delivery, which means that we become self-sustaining in 2 years, in 6 months, effectively. So, what actually are we looking? That translates, if we start looking at the levelized cost of ownership of a machine, we start to realize that you take the total input cost of the machine, its running costs, etc., and divide it by its lifespan. Multiply the machine to be built, and 50 by its cost. Exactly the same thing, and compare apples with apples, let's say batteries, or let's talk about generators. You start looking at numbers like 7 cents a kilowatt hour for EcoMC squared, 90 cents per kilowatt hour for a battery-based system, and $1.10 US for a generator. That's a factor of 10 times. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying to you is very simple. Ownership of a machine thing and compare apples with apples with, say, cents. The person in front of you, open it up, and give generously, please. Now, I'm going to be on the stand, D18. My name is Warwick. I would like you all to please line up next to the stand, the guy with the biggest checkbook in front, and I'll solve and answer all your questions right there. I thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you. Now, if you love travel, you've got to love Round Bob. Welcome from Uganda, Round Bob.
Good morning. We believe travel can change Africa. Travel is exposure. Travel is experience. And more importantly, travel is opportunity. And the interesting thing is that every African wants to travel. Everybody in this room is traveling. When you ask them why, they'll tell you the same thing over and over again. Travel is expensive. I can't afford to travel. And secondly, I don't know where to go. There's no information. How do I get my visa? And the one I personally like, that's from Uganda, yeah? Those things are difficult. Excuse me. We believe travel can change Africa. My name is David Travel is exposure. And I'm the founder of roundbob.com. And we are transforming how Africans access and afford travel. Now, global trends show a direct correlation between growth of the middle class and desire or demand for lifestyle products, especially travel. But then, as you look at Africa, you have, according to the ADB, 120 million people as Africa's middle class. And of these, only 30% are traveling today. I will put this more into context for you. Africa only represents 3% of the world's global air population, which means maybe something is off. We at Roundbob believe that we're creating a platform where we have how Africans access that allows the market to afford and access travel. Here's how we do it. First of all, we allow users to find relevant information on travel. So for example, people in every 2 years you have the African Cup of Nations happening somewhere in Africa. You will not find content for the African Cup of Nations until close to the event, and unfortunately what happens then is it's too expensive. We curate relevant content and make it available on our platform, roundbob.com. Now, yes, that sounds like any other travel agency. However, we also do cost management. We allow a user within our community to, number one, create a subscription-based travel wallet, partnered with your bank, put money aside periodically, and you can then afford to pay for whatever it is you want to pay for. And secondly, book a package and pay for it in installments. 30% of travel to travel. Being how Africans accept people in every I do agree with that. But we're not trying to be an Expedia. We're trying to be relevant. Give Africa relevant content, give Africa relevant desire, and make Africa actually travel. Secondly, yes, we have Wakana and other African platforms that are, creating content within their markets. We use a very interesting scaling models that helps us, one, curate content in new markets. We allow a user within our community to travel. We create content in that market, and we start to cross-sell this content across most of Africa. So what we're doing ideally is creating a whole lot of relevant travel information and helping the market afford to buy it. And this is how we make money. We make $1 from subscription per customer that we have, and we make another $1 on a monthly basis for wallet management, and another 10% that we make off commissions when the user travels. Wakana and other African platforms cross-sell this content across. We've been running for about 2 months now. We have a bank partner, Stanbic Bank in Uganda. We have worked with insurance companies and other such people to use travel as a reward and travel as a way to give the market benefit and desire for what they want. I'd like to show you the platform very quickly. Oops. Okay. Per customer that we have a bank partner, Stanbic Bank. It's not showing anything. It's on the PC. Apologies, we have a bit of a problem. The website is www.roundbob.com. On the website, you're able to find a whole lot of content. You're able to find flights. You're able to find hotels. We have about 200,000 hotels currently all over the world. You're able to find relevant content. This is the AfroBasket Championship that was in Tunisia last year. Last month, we were selling it about 8 months prior to actual launch. We have a bank partner, Stanbic Bank content. Like I said, low-cost carrier content, and a lot more. Now, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for partnerships. In-country partnerships to be able to scale into those markets through a JV model. What this does, like I said, you create content in your market that is relevant to the markets that we're selling to, and vice versa, and we cross-sell this. We need bank partners in market to allow them to be able to save. As a bank, we're giving you a way to generate savings. We're giving you a way to reward you find about 8 months prior to be able to generate a lot more revenue through a business that ideally you wouldn't be doing. And secondly, we need money to take this across Africa. We have a complete platform. It is done. We have the flights, we have the hotels, we have the content. We need to market. We would like to be able to enter the consolidator space because we have affiliate programs that allow people to sell our product. We're looking for $1 million. What this will do, like I said, allow us to better our tech, allow us to push this product across Africa, and generally allow us to change travel in Africa. Thank you very much. Create content in your market that is taking us across Africa. We have a complete platform.
Like I said earlier, for a lot of these products, sometimes the connectivity might give an issue here, so kindly go to their booth and experience it fully. Now, it's not always possible for entrepreneurs to make it here. Logistical challenges, visa issues, you know, the flight or seal a deal. The flight or seal a deal. We know that at the end of the day, business is about business, and sometimes you have to weigh those options. We have one startup, though, that will be joining us
allow us
via
to
Skype.
Push this product across.
And
like
are you there? Could we test the audio on that? Are you there?
I can hear you.
Can we hear you? Okay. Just say hi to the people.
Yeah, hi.
Great. So your time starts now.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. And I just
can. We know that at the
I don't have enough words to express how grateful I am for this wonderful opportunity that has been given to me. And I just want to use 1 minute first to thank all the Demo Africa team for everyone that has put so much effort in making this happen. And I want to thank you so much, every investors and every person that is there at this very wonderful meeting, and that has made this very very successful.
Everyone,
and I just want an idea for everyone that has no one to be able to believe in it. So tonight, I would like to use this opportunity to introduce you to Icon. So Icon Tracker is an app. Is a chip that has been orchestrated to be able to, it's a very tiny, small chip, a device that makes a big difference. So this little icon can actually be attached into your wallet or into your purse, and then you can use a GPS using the icon application that is right here to be able to locate exactly where the icon chip is. So I'll talk about just that is very functionality. So number one is that from the application, you can track the exact location of this device. So which means that if you have attached this device with maybe you attach it to your wallet, or you attach it into a vehicle, or you attach it to a little child, or you attach it into onto a pet, so you can actually know exact location where the device is. So by actually knowing exact location where your login is as well. So for example, on the app screen right now, it's showing that it is 198% accurate. And then I want to do something. For example, if I'm searching for this icon chip that I have here right now, I can use some functionalities by going from my phone. I can go from here. I can either search using the GPS location to know exactly, or you attach it into onto a app screen right where the chip is at. And also, for example, if I'm now closer to the chip, I can also make the chip make noise by ringing. So now I'm clicking from my phone. So I'm clicking the volume button, the speaker button. So by clicking the speaker button, the chip will beep out So making an alarm that will be able to help me to locate exactly where the chip is located. So I'm going to click on the button again now. So that's the chip making a sound. And also, for example, let's assume I don't have my phone with me, but I've got the chip in my hand. I can click on the chip. So this is the activation button here that I will have the camera logo on. So I'm clicking for my phone button will be able to help me button 3 times. My phone will ring out wherever it is. That's my phone ringing. So now I've found my phone because I misplaced it before. So I can now click yes. So for example, let's say my phone button for the application. So the good news is that we have signed a contract with the largest taxi companies in Africa, which has over 10,000 fleets. So what this taxi does is that because there is another functionality on the application that is called geofencing and also crowdfinding. What the crowdfinding does is that if I lost a property that belongs to me, or so for example that belongs to me, taxi does I can actually several other people can help me to locate my device or my belongings that I've lost by clicking on my phone lost. So as soon as I click on the lost, it's going to help me. So which means that every icon users that are out there in the community, they will be on the lookout for my application. They will start helping me to find where my can actually. And for example, right now, I'm going to click on this right button here. This right button will show me the exact location of where my belonging is at that I'm looking for. So that's what it says. It says it's on 2/4 Ward Street. That's where I am right now. That's where I'm located. So which means lost. If my car is my vehicle is stolen, here. This right button will show me the exact. And because I've already put one of these chips into my vehicle, I can know the exact location of my vehicle, and I can know how to be able to retrieve it back. So right now,
you've got 30 seconds.
Location of where my belonging is. So which means lost. If we are here to be able to seek a partnership with an investor. We are out looking for a $100,000 in order to be able to help us to produce to manufacture more icon chip. So with this icon chip, we can actually be able to get this into the hand of every person that is in Africa. And right now, I've got about 10 pieces of them here with me that are ready, that are fully functional, that we have tested, and they are ready for the market, and they are ready to be used right now. So what we're looking for is $100,000 for us to be able to manufacture more of this chip and make it available because it's so avoidable for everyone. And then the other good news is that Tony Elumelu Foundation has given us a $5,000 as a seed grant to support us in this venture.
Okay, thank you. Round of applause for Icon Tracker. Now, I'd like to welcome
from our application of where manufacture more icon chip. We have tested and they are ready.
And I'm Rote from Microsoft. Please join me on stage. Now, you notice one thing here. Icon say the tagline is lose nothing. For the ladies in the room, how many of you have misplaced your keys? Actually, not for the ladies in the room, for everyone in the room. If you've misplaced your keys, your wallet, I mean, Icon Tracker makes terrific sense. And we're having a chat yesterday and talking about how
Elumelu Foundation,
I'd like to welcome that come through demo and actually collaborate and work together. If you travel, the last thing you want to do is lose something. So if you're using Roundbob to check for your travel itinerary, you better have Icon Tracker to do what? To make sure that you never walk too far away from your bag, your purse, your wallet, and the likes. So let me help you there. Ladies in the room, how many of you have sense? And we're having a... So we've got, again, 15 minutes to do this. So first we'll talk about what each of our organizations do and what's different about them. And then we'll both build up and tear down the startups who've come on stage. One of the reasons why we do these panels is to help the founders probably look at gaps within either their business model or product positioning and essentially help them become better.
So if you're using...
Amrota, let's start with you.
Ladies in the room, how many...
About them?
Great, thank you. Good morning. I think just sort of from a big overview of the startups that came up, I loved the online presentation, especially using Skype. Very happy to see that. But look, there are a couple of challenges in sort of describing each of the problems. And just from a presentation point of view, there are some clear asks, both for funding.
And then we'll help them make
$1
better.
$10% business model that was very clearly laid out. But I think there are some that really sort of overlooked the ask and the business model behind some of the startups that they've presented. So I wish I could have seen a little bit more of that as they went on. Just as I think an addition, I loved Roundbob and sort of the travel system. I loved the problems. And just from a president, so how would that scale? How do we do it? So when you think of the African market, especially as you think travel, save, and also an element of financial inclusion in that piece that comes in, brilliant. So you think of students and the number of users that could attract, perfect. But how does sort of the ask and how do you develop the business, right? So how do you compete from the likes of, Vayama to Kayak and sort of drive that? Some that really sort of overlook. I loved the understand of students.
A bit about Nest, and then maybe you could dive into what you liked.
Sure, of course. Nest are really proud to just have begun setting up shop in Africa about 2 months ago. Our Paris office also just opened up 2 weeks ago.
And the number of users that can drive some that really sort of overlook.
We've invested in about 51 companies across the world and very proud to be playing a part in African innovation. We've already sent 2 African startups in fintech across to Hong Kong to participate in our global accelerator. We also really believe in the power of corporates to enhance startups. So we work with some of the world's biggest brands, AIA Insurance, Nissan, and DBS Bank in Hong Kong.
I loved the users that could drive some that really...
A quick pointer, the Infinity Challenge that you held. Were there any African startups that made it? I'm not sure if the list was announced.
It was announced, and I always like to make that correction that it's not a challenge, it's an accelerator program. It's where we push the entrepreneurs extremely hard over 3 months. I guarantee you they work from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day, and we make sure that
Global accelerator.
We did invite
the Infinity
African startups to join that. However, timing wasn't right for them, and that actually goes to the quality of who we invited because they were already looking at integrations into Uber, into Jumia, so it made sense for them to stay here and finish that. So hope to see them at the next one.
Excellent.
Infinity Challenge that you held. Were there any African hard over 3 months? I guarantee, and that actually goes to the quality.
What you guys at Potential VC look at, and then maybe talk into some of the presentations we've seen.
Yeah, we're early stage fund, if we can call ourselves that, actually. Syndicate fund. So basically we work with a lot of angels in Europe. We have the largest AngelList syndicate in Europe with about £500,000 per every deal that we participate in, although we don't normally do up to that. So we give about between £100,000 to £200,000 per deal. So we're very, very early stage. What we look for in every deal that we participate in is basically the team, like Doug said yesterday. So we can back very incredible smart team that have rubbish idea. Because we know that smart people will learn fast and they will actually pivot at some stage.
Yeah, but it just might be challenging to have a smart team with a dumb idea, but I think it goes to speak into the importance of having a really solid team.
You said that sometimes. So Twitter didn't start as Twitter. They started with a dumb idea. And they wasted lots of money before they pivoted. So we know that. So we back the founders. And then we look for scalable products. So we're now playing in Africa. We've invested in about 25 deals in Europe, majorly in the UK, because that's where we're from. But we're now looking to Africa. I'm from Africa. I'm from Lagos originally. And I like the African story. I like the passion. I like the huge problems here that can be solved. And startups are solving problems. fundamental. And complexity brings opportunities for us too. So we want to be part of that. I used to say that Africa is about to explode in a good way, and in terms of startups, and we don't want to be in the audience just clapping from Europe. We want to be on the stage where that is happening.
Okay, great. So between Aaron and Amrote, there's Microsoft with all its cloud offerings. There's a BizSpark program, and from Aaron, there's this huge focus on IoT, and we've seen Icon Tracker attempt to get into that space. So the question is, do you think we are ready for that, or are we also, okay, two aspects. Are we ready for that, or are we also getting late into that game? It was one of the most highly funded projects on Kickstarter that was trying to do something similar. So is it possible for us to play catch up and probably overtake? Because Africa is a virgin market. And for a lot of these entrepreneurs, they don't look at us as a market. So your insights into, say, Icon Tracker vis-a-vis your inclination towards and probably the cloud services that Microsoft provides.
Sure, but I think IoT makes a lot of sense for Africa. I think you talk about this rise in mobile devices. I think too much emphasis is on phones. I think there's a lot of stuff that we can do with very specific devices designed for very specific use cases. So I like Icon a lot. But Icon also represents a danger where you've seen something that works really well in the West. So is sort of the biggest one that's out there, right? I'm not really seeing what the differentiation between Icon and Tile really is, and maybe I've missed that. Certainly there's opportunity for leapfrog, and that's a big reason why we're here as well. So a lot of entrepreneurs I speak to in the hardware space have struggled with getting iteration cycles and test their devices quickly. So we've obviously got very deep links into Shenzhen, and we're happy to start bringing across more African entrepreneurs to help them increase. So
speaking to that, if I may interject, so you've got all these linkages into Shenzhen. Does that mean, does someone have to be part of your portfolio or your cohort to benefit from that? Or are you willing to say, if anyone is working in IoT and you need linkages that can help you either produce your devices, they can come see you?
They should absolutely come see us, and especially I think it's a bit chicken and egg, right? I mean, if you do think that far along that you want to take advantage of this, then we definitely still want to speak to you to maybe join our portfolio. So definitely think that that's something that we would like to look at. The point I wanted to mention was I found very interesting that Icon talked about needing 100,000 to produce their next range of devices. I mean, one of our startups that was also producing a very small device.
The healthcare device.
He just went around, this was actually glasses for your ears. So after demo day, he actually raised 250,000 on Indiegogo on pre-sales in 1 week. He really believes in that potential of his device. Why don't just get pre-sales? I mean, that's a fantastic way of marketing.